Hi, I'm Lexi, and you're listening to Luck It with Lexi. My podcast focuses on people who are working extremely hard and doing extraordinary things. Today, my guest is Trevor Albrecht, a motocross racer out of North Carolina who is making his way through the amateur national scene. This year, Trevor raced the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Motocross Championship for the first time, earning his spot as one of the top 40 riders in the nation, which is no small accomplishment. I first met Trevor a couple years ago at Chicagoland SMX, and since then he's been an incredible supporter of the L.U.C.K brand. It's been awesome watching Trevor line up at some of the biggest national events and continue not only to level up himself, but his brother as well. So congratulations on your season, and welcome to Luck It with Lexi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're going to start with your background. So where do you live in North Carolina?
I live in Charlotte, Concord area. Uh, yeah, right, really close to where the Charlotte SMX was.
Have you always lived in North Carolina, or were you born anywhere else or lived anywhere else?
I was born in Southern California, but we moved here when I was really young, so this is pretty much what I know. We go back a lot for to see family and our event, which we'll talk about later, but yeah.
Yes. So what other sports or activities did you do before motocross became your main sport?
Literally everything other than dirt bikes, because that's what my parents did not want me to do. I played baseball, actually played basketball for a little bit when I was younger. Initially, we did BMX racing. That was kind of the main thing, and we were actually pretty serious about that. And then mountain bike racing after that. In high school, I started a mountain bike team actually there. So we had a
Really?
little group going, yeah, and we would race interscholastically with a bunch of other counties and other high schools that had teams, and did that for 3 or 4 years. And yeah, then I started racing dirt bikes after that because that's what I always wanted to do.
That's pretty cool. So where are you going to college at?
I go to UNC Charlotte, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
What are you studying?
I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Hmm. So do you go any into like college games?
I have not been to as much as I should, but I do go sometimes, yeah.
Yes, fun. Did you join a fraternity? My family, we love the fraternities at Michigan because Lily lives around there, so we see all the guys playing beer pong outside.
Yeah, I actually did not join a frat. I know Nathan didn't either. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, we didn't talk about it too much.
So what was your first motorcycle?
My first bike was a Honda 50, which I actually still have and ride as a pit bike sometimes.
Mm.
And then shortly after that, I had gotten a Cowie 65 though, because when I got the 50, I didn't ride it too much, and I was actually already getting older. So we just rode in like our backyard and stuff in the grass. Never went to a track or anything until I was older.
Mm. Nice, nice. So how did you pick the number 83?
When I was younger, I was 52 actually, and that was just random. I didn't have a reason for that. And then I decided I wanted a reason for my number, and I had found out that my dad raced with 83 for a long time. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's what I'll do. And I've just stuck with that ever since. It's been probably 7 years now.
Oh, that's awesome. So what was your first race and what do you remember about it?
Um, my first race, we had this little series called Midway Arena Cross, and my parents didn't want me to race at all because of the danger of it. So we had gone to this track, and we'd barely even really started riding seriously at all. And he saw that the track wasn't that bad. It was more of like a pit bike track. And he's like, all right, you can race it just this one time. So we went. The track didn't even have a starting gate or anything. There's probably three other people in my class. I don't actually remember how that race went. I wish I did. Probably not great for me because I had never raced before. But yeah, that was where I first started, was this place called Midway.
Wow. So when did you first get serious about racing and how did that change the balance between school life and motocross?
When I first started getting serious about racing was probably I was almost 16 years old. So I always say I started racing when I was almost 16 because I did that Midway thing probably
Mhm.
4 or 5 times when I was younger, and that was only once a month, and then I kind of didn't race again after that for a long time. So I would say my first race where I decided I was going to get serious, it was 2020. Loretta's had they thought they were going to shut down, and then like for the year, and there ended up being this regional that you could just sign up for. Normally, you have to qualify from areas to the regional, but we could just sign up for it. And somehow, my mom actually convinced my dad to let us try it because we'd always just wanted to go to Loretta's. And I don't know if it was, oh, let them try it, they want to, or maybe they'll see how hard it is and they don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, we signed up for that. I got absolutely smoked. But ever since then, I started working harder at it and writing a lot. And before that, I never did. So that was definitely the start of something new for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, do you have a favorite racer?
Uh, my favorite racer, probably like either Justin Hill, Freddie Noren. I like people who are just really cool and genuine people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I go to a lot of the races to work and stuff, so I like to see people that I know and are really nice. So those are the guys I always root for.
Were y- Were you surprised by anyone who was like cool? Like, were you like meeting people and you're like, wow, this guy's actually pretty cool?
Uh, I'd say Aaron Plessinger. Actually, even though he seems really cool, I don't know why, but I kind of thought he maybe wasn't at first. Like I kind of thought he was a little bit of an act, but he's actually genuine. Like that is really who he is. So that's cool to
That's
see.
awesome. So now we're going to talk about your racing highlights and 2025 achievements. So this year you raced at Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship for the first time. What was that experience like?
It was a dream come true, pretty much. But that feeling probably didn't last for that long because right when I got there, I'm like, all right, now I have new goals. Now I need to try to do as good as I can, that kind of thing. It was definitely a tough race, probably more physically demanding than I even thought it was going to be. But I actually really enjoyed it, and a lot of people don't like the track, but I actually really like the track. Nathan always tells me that I'm lying, but I did. I enjoyed it.
That's funny. So you raced 450B and 450B limited class. What was that like?
I loved racing it. I kind of wish I was in C class for the first time. It would have been nice. 50B was really intense, and I hadn't ridden a 450 much before that. So when I found out that those are the classes I was going to race, I borrowed a 250 or a 450 from my friend to try to ride for a little bit, but I only got to ride it 3 times. And I was like, I can't do it. Just because of how rough it was going to be and the bike's so heavy, I just decided I would be better on a 250. But since B was a limited class, I had to ride a stock 250. And against all the people that were racing 450s, it was really hard to get a start. And then sometimes later in the day, there's one triple in the back after Storyland was really hard to get. And yeah, every once in a while it was a little tough on me, but it was still enjoyable. I loved it.
Yeah. So the B classes are typically some of the fastest classes. What was it like competing against that level of competition?
Something new for sure. Even though all the other nationals, it's usually a lot of the same people, at least the East Coast people in that class. So I kind of know how fast everybody is. But at that race, it was everybody combined. So even when I felt like I was riding the best I ever have and putting in really good laps, I'm sitting in 30th. Like that's the crazy thing. Like it was really
Wow.
hard to push up if I didn't get a good start at that race.
Yeah. So were there any moments during the races that made you rethink your approach or strategy?
Every time I got a bad start, I'm like, man, I just need to figure out how to get a good start because I've always started in like 40th. Uh, but no, I'd say more after the race is when I would decide because I know one day I had 2 motos in one day, and after the first one, I was so smoked. I was worried that I was gonna not even be able to finish the second one that well because like my back was sore just from standing up so much, and it was probably already 100 something degrees that day, and I'm
Yikes.
like, so then I decided what I was gonna do was I was going to go back in the camper and set an alarm because at least this race, all the races are on a schedule, on a time, so I
Hmm.
know when it'll be. So I just napped every before every race. That's the only way I could get through it. I just slept as much as I could.
Honestly, that's the way to go. So
hmm
what was the coolest part about racing at the ranch?
Uh, the schedule. I like the schedule of it. A lot of the other amateur races are pretty chaotic because there's so many people there, and it's not on a schedule at all. So like Minio's, it's a 7-day event still or 5-day, and you kind of just have to wait and sit around all day, keep going to the track to check what moto they're on, or you have to do the watch the live TV. So you never really have a chance to just sit around and wait and be ready. You're kind of always on your feet, which
Hmm.
I don't love. So Loretta's, I loved that it was on a schedule. Um, yeah, that's probably my favorite thing.
Are you planning to race it again this year?
Yeah, I'm planning on going in College Boy this time, which is an A and B uh, age group class, and then my second class would hopefully be 250B or 450B.
Nice.
Not limited this
So,
time.
what are some of the things you learned that will help you better prepare for the 2026?
For sure, I know how deep and wet it is early on in the day. That was something I wasn't prepared for. I actually crashed probably twice or three times in practice just because of how muddy it was and I didn't expect it. Like I remember once I jumped off this inside roller and we were landing flat and I was just following people off of it the first lap because we only get like 5 laps. And I landed and stuck so much I just flew off the front of the bike and the bike stood still. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. I was so surprised. But yeah, definitely that. I know how rough it gets and how it forms now. Here, a lot of the times the bumps will be in the corners, throughout the corners. But at Loretta's, everyone knows how to brake properly and when to get on the gas and everything. So there's no bumps in the rut. It's only before and after. So
Mm,
that's definitely something different.
yeah.
Probably more roll speed next time because I would try to charge in and the bumps would kick me around. Just trying to ride like normal, and that's not how I should do it next time.
Yeah. So we talked about surfer cross with Nathan. Nathan, can you explain to the listeners what surfer cross is and how fun it is?
I think Surfercross is the best event there is. I mean, I'm a little biased because it's our event, but I've heard a lot of people say the same thing as well. Basically, it's a 2-day event. It's surfing and motocross. You team up with a partner. You have the pro class and the industry class. So in pro, if you're a moto guy, you team up with a surfer. And in industry, it's just a random draw because in industry, a lot of people do both. You could get a surfer, you could get a moto guy, you could get someone who does both, you could get someone who doesn't nothing, which I've gotten all those before because I do industry. Yeah, the first day is moto. We usually do it at Paula, and then surf we do at San Onofre. And it's just cool. You get to meet a lot of people, get good connections after. Like I still talk to all the people that I've partnered with before.
Mhm.
It's a good way to go see all your friends and just hang out, do what you love, learn something new.
Yeah, awesome. So how much surfing experience do you have and like can you surf in North Carolina?
My surf experience score is 4 because I've done it for 4 years, and that's the only time I surf is at the event. So not great. I don't think I barely have gotten better at all. I kind of just go for the 1 point. Hopefully that adds on to my teammate score. We
So
can't
have you
surf in North Carolina because I'm too far away from the beach.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we can't surf in Michigan cuz too much snow. No,
Hmm.
there's no way you can do that. So, have you ever wake surfed before?
No, I have
No.
not. Never wake
That
surfed.
is You should definitely try that. That's what we do in the summer here. It's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, that would probably help. The only things that I can relate it to is snowboarding and skateboarding, and it still doesn't help me too much. Just a little bit.
So, who were your teammates in that competition?
The first 2 years, I had my cousin Noah, who is a surfer, and it was rigged. We were allowed to do that just for the time. My dad didn't think we were gonna do that good, and I was under 18, which no one else is supposed to do. So we're like, all right, it's fine. He could just be with his cousin. And then we ended up doing really well. Actually, we got second in surf. So then after that, we were kicked out from doing it together anymore. So after that, I got Shane Gould, who owns Fuel, and randomly, I already knew him before that. So we were talking the day before, like, what are the odds we get drawn? Which is not very high because there's probably 59 other people that I could have drawn because there's 30 teams. And I actually drew him that day after talking about it. So that was pretty crazy.
That's funny.
It was. And then last year I had Tanner Jensma. I think he's like a desert guy, but he's actually a pretty good surfer.
Hmm,
So we did pretty well too last year.
Awesome. So now we're going to talk about training and mindset. So work us through your training regimen and how much time is on the bike versus off the bike.
Uh, Way back, I would have said off the bike was more because I just had too much school that I couldn't balance it as well. So I kind of had to be that way. But as of recent, I've been doing it more on the bike because I realized that my experience level was just lower than the people that I was racing against on the bike, just because I started later. I started at 16. So I've just been trying to put in more time on the bike. But I mean, we still have a lot of off the bike training, don't get me wrong, but I just prioritize that right now with my schedule.
Yeah. So what does off bike training look like for you?
A lot of cycling is probably the main thing. Cycling, whether it's indoors or outdoors. Right now, indoors because of how cold it is. Um, some in the gym too. I'd say it's usually 4 days total, and that overlaps with riding too because sometimes I'll ride and do off the bike in the same day. But probably 4 days total off the bike training.
Nice, nice. So what type of workouts do you do in like the gym?
I used to do like a hybrid thing because that's what a lot of people in moto do, or at least what they say is good. Just because when we're racing, we're using all of our muscles at the same time, kind of thing. But I recently switched to more of an upper lower split for like I need to build more muscle, and that doesn't work with that type of thing. I'm burning too many calories with that type of workout, so I changed it.
So when did you start training seriously for racing and could you see the benefits right away?
I actually didn't see the benefits right away, but pretty soon after, maybe a few months, I did.
Mhm.
It took me a while to realize how much work it actually took, because back when I was 16 and I wanted to start racing seriously, I kind of didn't really have any direction or anything. I never did like the training facility or anything type thing, so I did it by myself. Once I finally got into a swing of things and I actually did work in workouts that actually have effect on me, then I started seeing effects. But at first, it was hard to have a direction, I guess.
So how much motocross riding do you fit in a week?
Probably 3 days, 2 or 3 days a week.
So can you ride year round in North Carolina?
For the most part, yeah. We probably had these last few weeks is when it started snowing and stuff, but it's only usually a month and a half of bad weather.
I
So most of
wish
the time, yeah,
we
it's
got
nice. There's not too much.
we have like 8 feet of snow in our backyard right now.
Yeah, we
It
had
was
15 inches, which is our record this year. That was the most we've had ever.
Yeah, we've had like 4 days off of school. Last week we had four. This week we've had one. We're supposed to have a lot of snow tonight, so maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
crazy.
Asked him if he got to do snow mode.
Did you get to do snow motos?
I wouldn't call it motos, but I didn't prepare for the snow. My friend Lucas came to our house, so it was me, Nathan, and Lucas at our house, and we ran out of food for dinner. So I was like, "Shoot, we got to go to the store," and I didn't want to drive, so I'm like, "We'll just ride the pit bike, and we'll just ride pit bikes to the store." So me and Lucas tried to ride to the store, and that was the worst idea ever. It was like 2 miles, and it took forever, and no traction on the roads. It was all ice. I won't do it
Nice.
again. Yeah, that was not worth it.
Yeah,
And the
be
store was
prepared.
closed when we got there, by the way.
Oh my. So motocross is physically brutal. What injuries or setbacks have you had?
I would say I'm pretty lucky, and I haven't gotten too many injuries actually. I mean, there's still quite a bit, but I've done broken my leg, I've broken fingers, dislocated my shoulder twice, and a few shoulder separations, and then stitches in here a few times. I think that's about it, actually. Not
Not too
much.
bad.
Nope.
Not too bad. Especially when we asked Nathan, he was like, he just started listing all these things, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, most people have a lot more than that. I would say it probably sounds like a lot to people who don't know motocross, but
Hmm.
it's really not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So, who are your racing mentors?
I'll say definitely my dad, number one, is my biggest mentor. Um, Buddy Antunez is a trainer that we've worked with a few times, and he's probably the best trainer that I've ever worked with. So even though it was a limited number, I still text him sometimes to help me out, and every time it's helpful. Um, yeah, I would say those are probably my biggest two.
So, how have they influenced you in your racing?
My dad just being there with me every time on the spot can help me out with if I need to take a different line during a race, or I would say if I need motivation or something, just a little boost of confidence. He's usually pretty real about stuff. Like a lot of dads will kind of try to make their kid feel like they're the best ever. And how I like it, I just want to be told what I'm doing wrong and how to fix it. That's what I say. I want to know what I'm doing wrong and how to fix it, and that's what he does. That's what I ask
Awesome.
him to do. So,
What works, works. So,
mhm.
what lessons have you learned that didn't seem valuable at first, but were actually really valuable?
mm, Probably to not compare myself to other people. That was something that I still do that, but that was a pretty heavy thing for me that I'll compare myself to other people that I'm racing right now. Even if like everyone has a different path, so I don't think it's important to focus on comparing yourself, and everyone has their own path and they get there different ways at different ages and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't think that was a very good answer, but
No, it was. That's a hard thing to not compare yourself in like any sports situation. It's like, it just feels like you have to. So, for listeners who might not follow motocross closely, can you explain who your dad, Jeremy, is and what he has done in motocross?
my dad is now he works for the AMA. He is a Actually, I don't even know his role, but he does sound testing and he's really involved with the AMA right now. But what he got started on was he first was a mechanic for my uncle, who turned pro a long time ago for a few years. After that, he worked with John Dowd for a year, then Jeff Emig for a while, and then after Jeff Emig, he went to James Stewart, which is where a lot of people know him from. After that, in probably 2007, he moved to North Carolina to start up JGR Motocross, the team, and he was the manager there until they shut down in 2020.
So, have you ever seen James Stewart ride in person since your dad helped him? And like, what was that like if you have?
I have, but I was so young that I don't remember. So all I see is pictures. But I watch a lot of videos, and my dad always compares things to James and tells me that I should watch him because he really is one of the best to ever do it. Like he's really good to watch, and yeah, I wish I remembered those times, but I don't.
Yeah. So, what's it like having J Bone as your dad? And do you ever call him that?
I've never called him J-Bone, but everyone around me calls him J-Bone. And when I was a kid, I would go to all the trucks in the paddock at the races, and whoever was on the team taking me would be like, "This is J-Bone's kid," and I would get all types of stuff like jerseys and posters, and I'm like, "All right, cool, J-Bone," and I didn't even know who it was at the time. I just went with it, but yeah, yeah, he's dad to me. I don't call him J-Bone.
So, what was it like being so close to the JGR MX team?
It was very cool, and I wish it was still here because I would have enjoyed it a lot more when I was older.
Mhm.
Um, but it was really cool, and there's I made a lot of good connections actually without even realizing it, just knowing them a little bit because eventually I went on to work at JGR, the NASCAR team actually, and a lot of the employees from the motocross team had went over there. So when I went there, I knew a lot of people already. There's a lot of people in the industry of moto still, so I every time I go to the races, I see people. I know a lot of the riders, and actually, I've started to ride with some of them at this point in my racing, so that's been pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of it is just good memories for me.
Mhm. Do you have any favorite memories from that?
I would say my favorite era of memories was definitely like 2018 to the closing, just because that's when I was a little bit older and understood it a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I had started writing a little bit more seriously. I wasn't quite there yet, but I was started writing more than once every few months, you know.
So, when your dad was with the team, did you ever get to ride in a NASCAR?
Did not. No. That would have been cool though.
Yes. So, now we're going to talk about your mom, Jackie. What role has she played in your motocross passion?
A huge role, especially when my dad travels to all the races. Um, because obviously before I could drive and do it on my own, I couldn't. I needed someone to take me. So my mom would pack up the whole motorhome and trailer and drive us to all these races for Loretta's qualifiers or
Mhm.
whatever it was. Because I mean, the pro scene is like 30 races a year, 30 weekends. There was all those times that we needed someone to take us to the track or wherever we were going, and she would do it every time. So
Awesome.
it was awesome.
Do you have any cool stories about traveling to races with her?
I have a funny story. One time we were going to a qualifier at south of the border, which is a track that's kind of close to us. And we had the motorhome, and we got there a little early, so we didn't have to deal with parking terrible.
Mhm.
And when we got there and she was backing up the motorhome into our spot, the people next to us were from another country, and they were videoing and like, "Oh my God, look, the mom is doing it." It was so funny. And they were like hyping her up the whole weekend because she was doing it by herself. It was pretty funny.
That's hilarious. I feel like that's how my dad is. Like he'll come to my dance competitions and he'll just be like dragging my dance costumes in like my glittery pink bag.
Hmm. Yeah, people love it when it's really not that normal, so it's cool.
Yes. Does she ever coach you or is she mostly focused on keeping you safe?
No, she does coach me. I would say she pushes me more than my dad does. My dad still, if I stopped riding tomorrow, he'd be happy. So sometimes I need my mom to push him and me.
Funny. So now we're going to talk about your brother Nathan. So your brother Nathan gave you a lot of credit on helping him get faster, and it looks like you guys have a lot of fun racing together. What are some of your favorite moments practicing together and racing together?
We practice together all the time, so I love riding with him. It's very helpful to have somebody to ride with 24/7, you know.
Hmm.
Um, Riding by yourself is really hard to push yourself all the time, so it's good to have him there. We ride at this place called Risk Racing. They have a little track in their warehouse area. So me and Nathan ride together all the time there. So those are probably my favorite memories just because we get to do that quite a bit.
Awesome. So Nathan says there's only a handful of times where he's beaten you. Does that make you mad at all, or is it their pride knowing that you're pushing each other to get better?
No, it there's a little bit of pride, of course, a little bit of ego, but I'm glad that he's there to push me and I can push him.
Awesome. So you guys stayed in California for the first few rounds of Supercross this season, and you posted some videos doing huge hill jumps. What was that like free riding in the hills of California?
It was really fun and something very different from what I was used to. Because in North Carolina, we don't have that kind of stuff. There's nowhere to really free ride and make jumps and do whatever you want. It's kind of just tracks all the time. So that was really cool to do and experience and makes me wish I lived there a little bit. At the same time, I don't, but it would be really cool to have that here.
Were you nervous hitting any of those jumps? Because it didn't look like you were nervous.
For a minute, maybe I was nervous, yeah. There was this big canyon gap that we were doing, and we were at my friend's house where we were keeping the bikes, and that jump was actually right next to his house. And we had just been riding all day with him, and he was like, "There's this canyon jump that I think you should do." And I was like, "Do you have a video of it? I want to see what it looks like." He's like, "Yeah." And he's standing at the lip, videoing it on his phone. No one's jumping it. I'm like, "Do you have a video of someone jumping it?" And he says, "No." He's never seen anybody hit it before. So then I'm like, Why do you expect me to hit this? It looked massive for one on the video. I don't want to do that." So then he convinced me to go over there and look at it. So we ride over there. and then I decided it didn't look terrible, so like walked up the lip a few times. The only thing I was nervous for is the lip looked really steep, so I didn't know how that would kick me. Like I didn't want to get kicked into an endo over a 60
Hmm.
foot canyon. So yeah, I looked at it for a little bit, and I decided I just wanted to do it. So yeah, got the video.
Well, what was it like? Was it like, how was the jump?
It was pretty big. Like it kicked me way higher than I thought it was going to, and the landing was pretty rough. Um, but it was awesome. I loved it. Like I would go back and hit it again right now.
So after you hit all of them once, did you just keep going, or did you were just like one and done?
I probably hit it 30 times. Yeah, like we just did it a bunch of times in a row, and then I convinced Nathan to do it after a few times. Then I had him follow me to look at it, and then he hit it. So then we did it more times, and then they're like, "All right, let me video more with the camera," because we had brought an actual video camera. So then we had to do it 10 more times for that. So yeah, we got to it a
Obviously.
lot. Yeah, until my dad made us leave because which is actually pretty truthful. He was like, "What if the bike breaks on the lip? You know, that'd be really bad." I'm like, "Yeah, that's true. I should probably stop."
Yeah.
They were borrowed bikes, not ours, so we didn't work
Oh.
on them.
So overall, did you like visiting California?
Yeah, I mean, I always love visiting. All my family still lives there. I
Mhm.
have a lot of friends there. It's a really moto heavy area, which is pretty cool too.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I definitely wouldn't live there, but I like visiting.
Yes. So I saw you might be racing Daytona Amateur Supercross this weekend. Is that true?
Yes, I'm racing the RCSX this weekend. Pretty excited for it.
Have you ever raced it before?
Yeah, I've raced it every year for the last 3 or 4 years. I've had success, like probably my best success there, and also my worst. But I love that race. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah. So out of all the big events you've raced, what is your favorite and which results are you most proud of?
Uh, I mean, obviously, I'm really proud of going to Loretta's, even though my results were very bad there. But I would still say that's number one, even over any of my wins. Like I said, Daytona, I've had my highest of highs there. I won there, my first like AMA title, so that was really cool. Um, that's something at the time I never thought I would do, so I was really like over the moon to have that accomplishment. And it was really my first taste of success after hard work. That's the thing about this sport is hard. You have to put in a lot of work for a really long time, and you see no gains or no success or anything to like be worth the time. But then when you do feel it, it makes everything so worth it. It just takes a long time to get there.
That is awesome. So now we're going to talk about the industry and the community. So you and Nathan connected us with Freddie Barlett. What do you think about him racing the British National Championship on a 450?
I'm just glad he can race. He's a really good rider, and I want him to be able to show everyone how good he is, and have a platform to do that. And I'm glad he can.
Awesome. So you've been following the L.U.C. brand since the beginning. What resonates with you about it?
The thing that resonates the most is just that you make your own luck. Um, you know, you, Opportunities don't just show up. You have to put in the work and put yourself in positions to be able to earn them. That's the only way you can actually get anything.
Exactly. So are there racers you respect for their work ethic that you think we should connect with?
He's gonna laugh at me for this, but the guy that I ride with the most, his name is Michael Mitchell, and I've never met anyone more dedicated to riding ever. Like this dude, he's 43 years old. He rides 3 times a week on the same tracks every week for however many years. I don't know, probably 10, 20 years.
Oh,
That's just what he does. He does it all the time. He honestly is awesome for us. Like he will get off work at 1 p.m. because he owns his own business, and he'll prep the tracks for us when we get off school, and we just go there and ride during the week. And he's honestly the only reason that uh, I'm able to get better or have a place to train. So definitely
that's,
him.
that's awesome. So who's in your moto crew?
Michael Mitchell, like I said, my brother. We ride with some the Phoenix Racing GNCC guys sometimes. Like Mike Witowski rides with us sometimes. Grayson Stroud rides with us. He went to Loretta's as well. In the 250C class, I think he's actually riding pretty good right now. That's probably our main group at the moment. Every once in a while, we have Josh Hill come by, but he's all over the place.
Yes. So now we're going to talk about personal reflections and advice. So what are some of your personal goals?
My personal goals, um, as far as racing goes, I'll be sure on that. I would like to race Arena Cross this coming season. Hopefully, a full season. I'm trying to put that together.
Mhm.
For my personal life, once I graduate with a mechanical engineering degree, I'm hoping to get into racing, maybe F1, because I know there's an F1 team coming to us to our area, so that would be really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So that's probably a goal for my career right now.
That's awesome. So my dad always says that motocross racers openly help each other get faster. Why do you think the sport is like that compared to others?
I think it's like that right now because it's kind of the only way to get better. Riding by yourself does nothing. If you put in the work and help someone else get better, it only comes back to you like probably twice as much. Like the only way to get better is to have a group of people to ride with and simulate with. Um, the intensity cannot be there by yourself, even though you can get better technique wise and everything. There's just no way that you're going to be able to simulate a race by yourself. So you have to be willing to help other people to help yourself, kind of.
Yeah. So what's one piece of advice you'd give young riders or one lesson from racing they can apply to life?
Just to work hard throughout adversity. It's just like real life. The second you give up, all the work you put in doesn't matter anymore. Even if it sucks at the time, or there will always be more success down the road if you really are passionate about it. So just to keep putting in the work consistently, even when you lose motivation.
So what would you tell your younger self about racing or life?
I would tell myself to just do put in the work for what I want to do and give it a chance to develop because I know at least for life, like when I graduated high school, I really didn't know what to do. So I was having a hard time deciding um, what path to go down. So ultimately, I decided to go to college and do engineering. And then for racing, I always wanted to race. And by the time I started racing at 16, I thought there was no point in trying that hard because like I was already old, right? Old at the time, which
Mhm.
I wasn't. But I didn't have my eyes open. I didn't know that you can just race because you love it, and you can still go as far as you want to go. You don't have to go pro at 16, which is what it was normal at the time. It was normal at the time you went pro at 16, 17. You know, things change.
Yeah. Awesome. So now we're on to the fun rapid fire questions. So what's your favorite track in the US and why?
Ooh, favorite track probably Monster Mountain. It's in Alabama. That was an awesome track. I went for a qualifier probably 2 years ago, and I want to go back. It was so fun.
So rider you'd love to race against.
Fun answer. I'm going to say my brother because I'm racing him this weekend and I never race him. So that'll be interesting.
But we'll be waiting to hear how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your go-to pre-race ritual?
Go-to pre-race ritual. I mean, I usually try to ride my road bike on the trainer a little bit just to warm up. But as far as a weird uh, tradition I have, every time I start my bike, because I have a Kickstarter, I'm like the only one with it, but I have this habit of I pull it out and back in like 4 times. It's the weirdest thing ever, but I do it every time. I don't know why.
I always, before any of my races for cross country, I always eat an apple. That's my weird thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's random too. I don't know. I just started doing it once and then never stopped. Now I can't do it without it.
So do you have any music you get pumped to, like rap or rock?
Yeah, rap and rock. I have a playlist for both actually. But I don't usually listen to music before I race.
Really?
I think I would, but I just don't. Maybe I'll
Interesting.
try it sometime.
So favorite movie or TV series?
Chuck TV show. It's my favorite show ever. I stand by that for my entire life, but nobody knows what it is. It was like from 2007 and it was never that popular. But yeah, that's my favorite show of all time, 100%.
Okay, we'll have to check it out. So what's one thing people would be surprised to know about you?
People would be surprised, at least in the industry, I guess, people would be surprised that I go to college full time. Um, I worked at I had a job at JGR doing carbon fiber, so I made a lot of parts for the cars in NASCAR. Um, yeah, this is a lot of stuff I do outside of racing, I guess. I don't know.
Do you ever wish you had kept the Killer Lizards band going?
Yeah, actually, I thought about it recently. It would have been fun to have a band keep going because I stopped pretty early. I didn't love it too much, and especially when I started racing, I didn't want to
Mhm.
play at all, and I kind of wish I still played. Yeah, I definitely lost some of my ability.
What instrument did you play?
Mainly drums, but
Ooh.
when we were in like that developmental band, we had to kind of switch through everything. So I've played guitar, I played keyboard. I can't play anything on guitar anymore. I would basically just I was never good at guitar, so I would just learn something good enough to be able to play at the concert, and then I'd
Mhm.
forget it right after. So I wouldn't even say it doesn't count as anything else. I played the drums, but I definitely didn't sing. That was something I never did.
I could never sing. My
I
sister
can't either.
just sings all the time, and I just makes me so mad.
Yeah, I don't even try.
So thank you so much for being here. And if you know anyone in your community who's working extremely hard, DM us at Luck Unlimited Apparel on Instagram. Thank you for listening to Luck It with Lexi.
Okay, thank you for having me.